Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Brundi, the winner of the 2026 draft lottery, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Man, that a lot of people are mad. There's not a funnier outcome. There is not a funnier outcome than that. Like that is so how the NHL's been over the last couple of years, isn't it? It just feels like for better or
really
worse, the cinema keeps happening. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. I think only maybe the Florida Panthers had more people cheering against their number coming up. And frankly, I think there's probably more people who would have wanted Toronto to not win than the Panthers even. Like, despite their fall off, people just hate the Leafs. And
Yeah.
well, 2016, they win the lottery. They draft Austin Matthews. They go to the playoffs 9 consecutive seasons. Up until this year, that was the NHL high, the current highest streak until they didn't make the playoffs this year. First year missing the playoffs after 9 in a row, immediately win the lottery. And you got to assume they're going to get Gavin McKenna.
I would assume
the
so.
Option to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Toronto, and people are gonna, debate it for all the way up until the draft, right? On do they take Gavin McKenna or Ivar Stenberg, and it's kind of a 1A 1B situation, and yeah, and you kind of look at it on the two sides of the coin. Gavin McKenna, Canadian, playing for Toronto and whatnot, or Stenberg, who's a Swede, and you just brought in Sundin.
Brought in Sundin. They got William Nylander, who I guess counts as Canadian and Sweden, basically.
A little bit of both.
Grew up in Calgary. He's Swedish though.
It'll be a debate for a while on what they do. Again, I think they probably go McKenna just because.
I would be shocked if they didn't. I would be very shocked if they didn't. Just because I'm not saying Stenberg's going to be better or worse or that much worse or anything, but like it feels like there's a good chance they're very comparable players and how valuable they are to a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
If you take Stenberg and McKenna goes off and becomes like a McDavid level player, you look like the biggest schmuck in the world for not taking him. If you take McKenna and Stenberg becomes that level of player, people are going to say, damn, you should have taken him. But they're not going to be like, you idiot, you didn't see this coming, because most people would have taken McKenna. So, like, I feel like just, especially since they got John Chaykin there, their new GM, I feel like there's no way he can come in, win the draft lottery, and then take the guy who isn't the overwhelming favorite, right?
Well, I mean, to me, it's very similar to the what was your Jack Hughes went first overall? Was that 2019?
2019 or 18? Probably 2019.
I think
18 was Dahlin.
Dahlin, yeah. So it's very similar to the 2019 draft, where, and again, we know how things panned out for Kaapo Kakko. Probably would have been a much different story had he not have gone to the New York Rangers. But it was very similar of like Jack Hughes in this scenario is Gavin McKenna, Kaapo Kakko is Stenberg. Yeah. And it was how Jack Hughes kind of has, like at the time, had the higher ceiling. Like if everything panned out according to the way it should for him, the higher ceiling. Yeah. Whereas Kaapo Kakko had the much safer floor. Like if both players, kind of flopped and were at their lowest, Kaapo Kakko would be the much better player. And is also, I think, was more projectable for him to translate to the NHL easier and quicker as opposed to Gavin McKenna or Jack Hughes. And that's where we're at now. Ivar Stenberg, I think, in my opinion, will probably have the more impact immediately in the NHL over Gavin McKenna and the much safer floor. But again, in terms of the ceiling, I mean, Gavin McKenna has more potential to be more of a superstar player and put up like more points. So, and again, I think that's the way that Toronto will go. And I love it that like if it was Calgary won, Seattle won, Vancouver won,
I was
like
definitely pulling
almost
for
any other
Calgary.
team, people wouldn't even say a peep. But as soon as it's the Leafs, it's rigged. And it's not. I mean, it's you can be mad Toronto,
No.
but people say that it's rigged. I mean, like just say you're salty, and then say you're salty, and then say that it's
Yeah.
rigged, and it's like okay, fair, but don't
And
say
you know
that
what?
it's rigged, and then when people call you salty, be like, well, it is. It's like it's not. It's
We
it's,
I mean,
it's
I
just
will take the
luck.
side of I'm definitely firmly in at this point in the camp of we don't know if it's rigged.
It's
I'm
not.
I would say I'm 90% sure it's probably not. I think it would be a lot easier to pull off than people think it would. And I think there's billions of dollars on the line. I think it's goofy to completely write off the idea that they wouldn't do it, but I think the vast majority of it, I don't think they do. If they do, they definitely don't every year for sure. And even years like this, I find it hard to believe. I thought it was rigged more after Chicago got Bedard than I do after this. 100%. Everyone seemed to know it was a foregone conclusion, and they had the third best odds, which is only like 14% or something. Like,
Well, and that's
and
the
even
thing,
then,
right? Is
I
like
don't necessarily think that one was rigged, but like it feels a little suspicious, you know? But
I don't think so because again,
the
like I see
people
a
who
lot of
sit there going,
Vancouver
it
fans
is
though.
rigged 100%, how would you, okay, the people are like, it's definitely rigged. Okay, well, how the hell could you know? You're not there.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like at most you can be suspicious. There's a lot of people who just claim it's rigged, and it's like, if you know something I don't, I would love to hear it, but
Like
uh,
people say that it's rigged and whatnot, and I always just say it. Okay, cool. You can think that, but you're totally wrong. Like a bunch of Vancouver fans, and again, like I feel bad for them. Obviously, the season they had and everything, falling back
oh,
to three. They're still
yeah,
going to get a
that's
good
so
player.
brutal.
Like they're still going to get a good player, but they're like, oh, at a 25.5% chance, so a 1 in 4 that we win. Yeah, it also means you have a 75% chance of falling back. Just because
Yeah.
you have the highest odds doesn't mean
The best
you're guaranteed
you
it
have
because
bad odds versus the field. Yeah.
yeah, and that's exactly it. So again, even though you have the best odds, it doesn't mean you're gonna win. I mean, you have the best chance to, but the odds are more in your favor of falling back. Like they had a 55.7% chance of falling back to three, which is what happened.
What happened? It
It's
is more than half, so it's
yeah.
not shocking that it happened. Like, yeah,
It's just I
it's
mean it's just the luck of the draw and the way it goes. You look at you know teams like Colorado and Detroit when they had horrible years, and it's like everybody's like kind of rooting for them. That's team kind of isn't like right in the mix there. Like they should win it because they're dog shit, and Colorado doesn't win. Oh well, they got Cale Makar instead, best defenseman in the game right now. Uh,
yeah.
Detroit, they lose the draft lottery. They drop back to 4 because again at the time it was a draw for the top 3, not just 1 and 2. Detroit falls to 4. They get Lucas Raymond, home run hit. So again, yeah, if people want to say it's rigged, they can say it, but I always just say, just you're just salty, and that's fine. But um, yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
like
people
half
are
the
obviously
reason
mad
people
that
watch sports is
that
to be salty at the other guy. Like,
yeah. Yeah, but overall for Toronto, I mean, it's got to be Gavin McKenna. I mean, that's a guy you can easily market there. And I know a lot of people aren't. I'm happy Toronto won. I'm fine with it because first of all, it means I can say that I'm right in that it's they should kind of start to sell off and fall down and keep this pick because a lot of people are saying like, oh, you finish the season strong, give the 10th overall pick to Boston and save yourself for next year. And I was banging the drum, fall down, at least make sure you're in the bottom 5, have a better chance number 1 and use your pick and because now this totally changes everything for them, right? You bring in Gavin McKenna,
absolutely.
it's going to make I mean Austin Matthews, who his future was kind of uncertain there with some of his recent comments. I think those are all out the window now. You can slot Gavin McKenna in with him.
Most likely.
That's going to be awesome for them and again, a team that was kind of stuck in the middle might become a bit more desirable though with A guy like Gavin McKenna there now. You've got Matthews still. You've got Nylander. The defense is pretty rough.
They're going to have him for 3
They're
years
gonna
at
have to.
league min as the
Yeah.
cap skyrockets. Like
Yeah.
that opens a bit of a window up for him right there. Like that's
Absolutely. It
very
totally
solid for
changes
him.
things around for him, and that's what we were saying is the draft lottery can completely turn a franchise around, and for Toronto, it did exactly that. Because say a team below them, because I think Seattle had pretty good odds of first overall. Like Seattle hopped over them.
Yeah, they would have been around there.
You're now down to 6, and you don't win that second one to move out into the second overall. You're giving Boston the. I mean, what would end up at that now point being
6th,
the
7th
overall
whatever.
pick? Like, and then you're fucked. Then you're in real trouble. So this totally turned their franchise around. And again, I know a lot of people aren't happy for him, but I'm happy for them because again, like people hate Toronto, but it's like, I mean, like kind of why? Like,
no, honestly,
it's just
I
sad
know
there more than
exactly when
anything.
I know exactly. I love to hear you say that because I don't know if you felt that way a bit more recently or maybe it happened a year or two ago. The year was about 2021 for me. When ever since like 2018, 2019, it's been extremely easy to dunk on the Leafs, right? And
Mhm.
everyone does it. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the Ducks. Different conference, you have like no rivalry. Well, I guess now with the Gudis stuff, but before that, you had no rivalry, no reason to even think about each other, right?
Yeah.
And even them, anything comes up about the Leafs, it's their chance to dunk on them. Like not the Ducks specifically, just as a random example. Like everyone
Yeah.
dunks on the Leafs. They're the league's punching bag. And around that 2020, 21, 22, in those years, I was just at some point, I was like, you know what? Everyone mocking the Leafs is actually more annoying than the Leafs fans are that they're making fun of. Because for a bit there, it was like, yeah, Leafs fans are fucking annoying. Let's get them. And it pretty quickly turned around and was like, actually, no, you guys are way more annoying and they are rent free in your head despite losing constantly.
Yeah.
And so, like, now I'm like, you know what? Everyone, for every game 7 that they choked, for every comeback game, for every time they got beat by a goalie who isn't in the NHL, he's actually a Zamboni driver. Like, for all those moments that they got dunked on, now everyone else can eat shit. They're going to get Gavin McKenna,
Yeah.
and you know what? They get to laugh about it for a bit.
Exactly, right? Yeah, yeah.
I like cheering against the loudest and most annoying people, and somehow the haters of Toronto got bigger than the Leafs fan base themselves.
Yeah, and it's also in part of what I said last episode when we were talking about it. My biggest thing more than anything was I want Gavin McKenna to go somewhere where he can thrive, somewhere where he can.
Absolutely.
It helps set him up to be a face of the league because again, I think he can definitely be a future face of the league. You think about it, he goes to Florida.
That's why we didn't want
he'd be
him
on
to
a
go
good
to the
team,
Rangers.
but would be kind of wouldn't be kind of the guy, right? Like kind of would be overshadowed by a lot. Seattle,
they would definitely change the way he plays the game, right?
Yeah.
Like
Seattle again would have been kind of happy for the franchise, but for McKenna, be like, this isn't a great destination for you. Rangers, they would have ruined them. Like
that would be
Just
tragic.
the way it goes. And then like from that point on, the other teams are kind of looking at the top of there. Winnipeg, Canadian team, love it. Toronto, Canadian team, love it. Calgary, Canadian team, love it. Vancouver, Canadian team, fucking love it. And then Chicago. Not a Canadian team, but an Original Six team, and Connor Bedard's there, who's his cousin. So it was like there was quite a
winger, and Bedard's
good
a center.
Yeah, like it was like there was quite a few good. Like happy for Toronto.
I would have been annoyed if he went to the Jets though, just because didn't the Jets win the President's Trophy last year?
Yeah, but that would have been so fun though. Still there. That would have been electric for a team like Winnipeg that's like always kind of looked at as kind of like the baby of the Canadian teams and like no one wants to go to Winnipeg, all this like that would have been sick for them to
I guess, but they kind of kicked that in the past few years, haven't they?
A bit
to me, I don't really know.
In terms of the fan perception, I think not necessarily the players. Like, the players may not feel the same way, but the fans are always going to laugh and make fun of Winnipeg for that, right?
Well,
And I've always had a
figured the
soft spot
fans'
for Winnipeg.
perspective has changed. Like, I don't know. Because I definitely looked at them like that up until like 3 or 4 years ago, and then they started putting together much more solid regular seasons, and obviously Hellebuck wins the Hart, they win the President's Trophy. They look really
Yeah.
strong in the playoffs. Like, at least for my personal thing, I feel like they bucked that. But I mean, I don't speak for everyone who watches hockey either. So
I mean, for me, always like, because people always throw out the thing of like, if you're an NHL player, like, what teams would you want to go to? And I was always like, fuck, Winnipeg would be sick. I mean, but I'm also one of those people that like, the cold isn't like the end of the world for me. Like, I know it can get really, really.
I was going to
cold
say
in
the
Winnipeg,
Canadian teams
but,
would make up all of
yeah.
the top 10 for me. Like, I know that's basically exactly the opposite of how most people in the NHL view it. The
Sometimes
Canadian teams usually
boys
on the
just
no
want to
trade list.
play in Canada.
I don't say I would much prefer to stay in Canada.
But overall,
But I'm also not making millions of dollars to play a game.
Yeah.
So what do I know?
But congratulations to the Toronto Maple Leafs on the first overall pick. I can't wait to see.
Did they do a draw for the second overall pick?
They sure did. They sure did do a draw for the second overall pick, and it was none other than the San Jose Sharks. For the fourth year in a row, we'll be picking in the top 4. I couldn't be more thrilled, honestly. I mean, obviously, as a Sharks fan,
like
I feel bad for
say,
Vancouver and Calgary and even Chicago and whatnot.
I love the Sharks. The Sharks are one of my top 3 teams. They're below Tampa and somewhere close to Calgary. And even I was like, damn, they didn't need it though. Like, their future's set. But they're fucking fine. Obviously, it's helped, right? But it would have been so nice to see it go to Calgary or even Vancouver. I don't really, I don't have any attachment to much of the org or anything with the Canucks. I just feel bad for their fan base. They're a very passionate fan base that just gets screwed over constantly by this dog shit owner.
The one thing I will say though is because a lot of people
are set the Sharks up nice.
Yeah, and a lot of people are throwing out there like, oh, and again, part of the rigged thing is, oh, of course they're going to rig it for San Jose. Why the fuck would they rig it for the Sharks? Like, it makes no fucking sense why they would do that with all the other teams in the mix there. Makes absolutely no sense.
And like, it's a growing market. They're going to be a high selling point with Celebrini. Okay, they already have him. They already have a bunch of surrounding talent. Like, this isn't going to make them a staple in the NHL because of this pick specifically. Like,
and it's also, this is the first time the Sharks
they already would
have moved up. Again, this will be the 4th year they're picking in the top 4, but it's only the first time they've actually technically like won and moved up. 2003, you stayed in number 4 spot, or 2023, 2024, you held on to the first overall pick. Last year, you actually moved down.
I think that counts as a lottery win, though, because like you said, it's a 75% chance you lose that. Right?
But it's not of that they moved up.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't yoink it from somebody else who had a shitty season.
Like it's the same as 2024 Chicago. You could argue they won then because they didn't move up, but they held on to their spot. And then last year, I mean, they didn't. The Islanders made the huge jump up, and where it was able to get Schaefer. So, and again, it's also like the reason Sharks have so many high picks is because they've also fucking sucked for such a long time, like back-to-back seasons being the bottom team in the league.
With like 3 games left in the year, they were still trying to make the playoffs. Like they
but
were
that's
in it
also
for a while.
A shitty division. And to the people that are complaining about that, guess what? The San Jose Sharks mopped the Winnipeg Jets in Game 82, final day of the regular season. They were tied in points. So if San Jose lost, they would have fallen down and had the 7th best chance at the first overall pick. Winnipeg would have had the 8th best chance. Do you know who would have had the 9th best chance and would have won and moved up to 2 if San Jose lost to Winnipeg? The Florida Panthers. To all the people complaining about that, the San Jose Sharks saved the league from the Florida Panthers getting Ivar Stenberg at number 2. So you're welcome. You're welcome, rest of the league. That's people are complaining. But you are absolutely right. The Sharks didn't need this. Like, they already set.
It's gonna help.
Absolutely. And
do you think there's a world where they move this pick?
I see a lot of people throwing that out, and it's kind of the same thing every year. I don't think they do, because it would have to be an offer that you can't refuse. You know, I see Rangers fans saying, oh, you know, the 5th overall pick in Braden Schneider. Like, that ain't doing it. I've seen I shit you not. If people think I'm wrong, I will post screenshots everywhere online. A Vancouver fan said Filip Hronek in San Jose's 2nd round pick, because we traded the 2nd for Kiefer Sherwood. Filip Hronek and San Jose's own 2nd round pick back, so like 40th, for 2nd overall.
Vancouver was the first team that came to my mind, because you know they'd love that.
And even then, though, still it would be the 3rd overall. Like, I would need to look up their thing, but like, again, for it to happen,
what's their?
It would have to be something ridiculous.
They have the Minnesota Wild 1st round pick, because you know the Canucks want to keep that. They would love to draft 2nd and 3rd overall. What if it's you're trading out just the 2nd overall pick, and back you get the Minnesota Wild 1st and Zeev Bium?
But again, that doesn't really do much for the Sharks, because that's just adding another left-handed defenseman.
Zeev Bium doesn't
the mix. No.
Oh, I thought he was right-handed.
No. Yeah, if he was right-handed, that maybe changes things. But again, that's like the last thing the Sharks need, is another young left-handed defenseman to add in the mix when you're starving for anyone on the right side, to the point like you had to go out and you had to grab your John Klingbergs. You had Vinny Desharnais, who got ran out of Edmonton, got ran out of Vancouver. Like, I think he's a very solid 3rd pair defenseman. He was a top pair defenseman on San Jose on the right side, because that was their best option. Yeah. Like, to me,
I did think he was right-handed when I brought that up, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It would have to be a perfect fit, and like, you're not a guy that looks pretty, like a guy that you're like very confident is going to be a huge player. Like maybe you could do something with Zane Parekh in Calgary. Maybe something could happen there if they were willing to move him. I mean, you got the 2nd overall pick. That's pretty good.
I don't think Calgary would even do that, though. Like, that's your guy. You're building your blue line around going forward. You've got other decent defensive prospects, but you don't got anyone on that elite level of what a Zane Parekh could be. Like, and that's the thing is anything, if San Jose is trading the pick, it's moving. You're getting the other pick back. Like, if Vancouver's moving up to 2, you're getting that 3rd overall pick back. If Chicago's moving up to 2, you're getting that 4th overall pick back. Same with the Rangers, Calgary, all those teams.
I'm thinking instead of a great pick, they would be wanting a pick back that's probably in the 2nd round or late 1st round, and then a incredible prospect. Or
who
just
does Vancouver have? Because San Jose is now,
Vancouver
this is,
doesn't work because they don't have any good enough players at this point.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so with Vancouver, it's got to be 3rd overall. Like, that's got to be part of the package. And to me, for Vancouver, it's got to be. Let me pull up what their thing was. Like, you got to look at something like 3rd overall, Minnesota's 1st, and something else in there. I don't even know necessarily off the top of my head, but then it have to be like another mid to high end prospect, because because the Sharks aren't going to trade back just for the sake of trading back, because you can either take Stenberg, who then your forward core is just unbelievably loaded with talent, to the point that your 2nd line or 3rd line would have guys like William Eklund and Colin Graf on it. Or or you go the route of all the other kind of guys in the top of there are right-handed defensemen, which is exactly what the Sharks need. Yeah. But I'm always on the trade if you take best player available and you figure out the rest later. So my thing is you take Stenberg and you sort out your right-hand defenseman later.
Yeah.
A lot of, and again, not the same necessarily type of players, because I think like a Chase Reed, Keaton Verhoff are a bit different from a Levshunov. But look at Chicago in 2024. You take Levshunov at second overall when the consensus number 2 prospect was Demidov. And now imagine him alongside Bedard.
Yep.
But then that's what Chicago's been kind of looking for. And again, different players, but you take the best player available, and
everyone was so convinced,
there.
both Demidov and Michkov were gonna stay in Russia for so long, and for both those prospects, I was like, why would they not come here to make more money? And people are like, oh, because they're locked in over there. Okay, what if they fucking leave?
And what did they do?
Like,
both left, got out of their contracts, and made their way over. So again, like, people, again, it's going to be the thing people talk about for all up until the draft. Who's Toronto going to take, and then who's San Jose going to take, or are they going to trade back? And I just say you keep the pick, you take best player available, which would be Stenberg or McKenna if Toronto decides to go the other way, and you
that
work
would make
there.
a Zane Parekh trade a lot more interesting. If San Jose would be sending McKenna instead of Stenberg back, because now it's probably the guy they would have wanted most, and also a Calgary guy, right?
And I would love it if Toronto did that, because then if you're San Jose, you just stiff arm Calgary and you say Zane Parekh and 6 overall if you want McKenna, or you don't get him.
And you know what? Calgary probably does it in a heartbeat. You don't let him. You don't hang up the phone and say, "I'll think about it." You can't let him. You can't let that walk away. Like, if I'm San Jose, I'm going, we're fleecing these idiots. If I'm Calgary, I'm going, you got to do what you got to do. We got McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would actually take that if I'm Calgary, and it's a lot to pay, but like that's your guy. That's your guy right there.
But yeah, I mean, as a Sharks fan, obviously, I'm elated, and I love seeing people, hating on the Sharks, getting mad. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Second overall, I'm gonna sleep happy and continue to believe that
teams that have a bad
Stenberg
future.
is a choice. And that's the thing, right? Is like, it was kind of like San Jose was fighting for a playoff spot again in a bad Pacific Division. So it was like, oh, they're gonna miss the playoffs and ruin the draft pick. Their win total this year was more than their previous 2 years, and they won the lottery and jumped up. It's like, that's a perfect scenario. You got development from your team, you're moving in the right direction, and you lucked out and got another top pick. Like, that's the dream scenario.
And now there's such a destination for free agents. Like, man, that if you're a young guy going to free agency, or even just looking to get traded out of your situation, San Jose's got to be in the top 5 destinations for a lot of young guys. Like, you got to be like, look at what they're building. Like, I want to get in on the ground floor of that before it really takes off, and it's going to in 1 or 2 years. So,
and it's going to be. Yeah,
they just need to fill out the defense a bit more, and that is a position that takes less people because, generally teams carry 12 forwards on their roster and 6 defense. So you only need a couple of really strong guys, and it turns it around. Yeah. They've even got contingencies in place. They've even got Ravensburg in development in case Askarov doesn't become the elite goalie we're expecting him to be. They've even got a backup plan for that. They've got so many bases covered.
Yeah. And I've said it before to people, and I'll say it again, because a lot of Sharks fans want them to take Chase Reed, and it's like, you get that right-handed offensive defenseman that can be a top pair guy and run your power play. Yeah, I bet fucking anyone could run a power play if you've got Celebrini, Will Smith, Michael Misa, and Ivar Stenberg out there. You could put any defenseman out there, and I'm sure they could make it work, because that's just a plethora of.
Jan Ruda would put up 55 points on a season.
Jan Ruda would put up 55 points on the power play alone. He'd be the new Evan Bouchard. For Vancouver, I'll just quickly throw us out there, and then we can move on to some other stuff. Yeah, I do feel bad for them, because obviously the season they had and falling back and whatnot. You're still getting a phenomenal player 3. And it's probably either going to be you're going to get Stenberg there, and then it's like there's a potential that might have been who you took at 1 anyways. If you were at 2, that's who you'd be getting. Or you get Chase Reed, and then you now have him and Z Boyum as what could potentially end up being the best pair in the league for 10 years in a row. Like, you could have the most dominant top pair on the blue line, and that's hard to do. Like, that is very hard to do. So, I do feel bad for them, because it would have been nice just get that number 1 overall pick and, be happy, because, never had one, and haven't picked this high since the Sedins in '99. You're still getting a great player. So you will be fine. You'll be all good.
Yeah.
It hurts, but
thank God
you'll be fine.
Because that gap, big skill gap, kind of starts from 3 to 4.
In my opinion, it's from 4 to 5,
Reed.
But majority of people, are kind of saying 3 to 4. But I've been a Keaton Verhoff believer since day one, and I will continue to be.
That is true.
I can't wait for him.
I'm shocked how many people are lower on him. I still think he's going to be so good.
It's kind of the same thing as Gavin McKenna. It's a guy that looked really good in the WHL, goes to the college, and again, it's like these are 17-year-old kids playing college hockey. They're probably not going to put up the numbers that Adam Fantilli did, that Celebrini did, that Jack Eichel did. Like, had Gavin McKenna stayed in Medicine Hat, had Keaton Verhoff stayed, I think he was with Victoria, like, like Gavin McKenna would still be like, oh, he's generational franchise player. Keaton Verhoff would still be best defenseman in the class. It's just, I think people's expectations are just really high on these guys when they jump to the college level from the the CHL, and I think it just kind of sets the players up for failure, regardless of what they do. So, I'm still a big Keaton Verhoff believer, and I wouldn't hate it if Sharks took him at 2. Again, I still think take Stenberg, but I'd be happy.
It's one of those things where it's like, either take Stenberg and then make a trade, or just like trade back, because you're the only team up there that wouldn't take Stenberg. So like, why waste the value of being at number 2 for that? Like, at that point, you could even if you're trading with Vancouver and you move back 1 spot, and you're like, okay, they're definitely taking Stenberg or McKenna, whoever's there, and we'll take your 2nd round pick. Like, does Vancouver do that to move up 1 spot, give you their 2nd? Maybe it's a 3rd. It doesn't really matter, as long as you're getting some value, if you're getting the same guy.
Yeah.
So
actually, funny enough, the WHL draft was tonight. Pretty crazy, actually enough. Brent Burns is still playing in the NHL in the Stanley Cup playoffs. His son just got drafted to the Prince George Cougars. So congratulations to the Burns family.
His son would go to a team called the Cougars.
The Vancouver Giants had the 2nd overall pick, and they traded it. Do you want to hear what the package was they got back from the, I hope I pronounce this right, the Wenatchee Wild, I think is how you pronounce it.
These minor league, not minor league, junior league team trades, like in the WHL and stuff, are always so crazy. They're bananas. I'm very excited for this.
So the 2nd overall pick went to the Wild. The Vancouver Giants traded away the 2nd overall pick. They got the 3rd overall pick, a 2nd round pick in 2027, a 2nd round pick in 2028, and a 1st round pick in 2030. So you got 2 extra seconds in future years to move up 1 spot. Yeah. So I kind of saw that, and I just said, you know what? If the Sharks want to trade the 2nd overall pick, that's the price. That's the price you pay. I'm not sure, actually. Let's see here.
I mean, it's the draft to get into there. So they're drafting. I was gonna say they're probably drafting like 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. So like, we probably don't know any of the names, but
let's see.
Unless you're talking 1st overall, we might recognize it, depending. I'm trying to think of some of the.
They took forward Parker McMillan. Oh, Vancouver also had the 4th overall pick, so they ended up with the 3rd and 4th overall pick.
Did they take the Sedins?
And the Wild actually had the 3rd overall and the 5th overall. Fuck, those two teams are little. The Kelowna Rockets, fuck them. They get the Memorial Cup this year because it's in Kelowna, and they just got the 1st overall pick as well.
That's toxic.
But that's the thing with the WHL, right? When you trade a 2030 pick and you're like, oh, we'll be good by then. Yeah, you might not be, and you might have traded away. A lot of 1st overall picks end up, being traded in these leagues. Parker McMillan. Let's just see. Let's see if he's.
It sounds very vaguely familiar, but that's hard to say. It does suck for Calgary and Vancouver, but I am excited to see maybe Calgary lucks out and gets Landon DuPont next draft.
Parker McMillan's from Vancouver. Imagine sitting there being like, I'm going to go 2nd overall to Vancouver and stay here. And it's like, yeah, no.
And they traded his pick? What the fuck are they doing, bro?
Yale Hockey Academy U15.
And they
91 points in 25 games. Because he had 91 points in 25 games. That's pretty damn good.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
But yeah, we can get back to the NHL. The Selke.
The Selke Trophy. We got our finalists. And I would be shocked if we couldn't guess the winner as well.
Yeah.
The Selke finalists are announced as Nick Suzuki from Les Habitants, Anthony Cirelli from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Brock Nelson from the Colorado Islanders. Were you shocked to see Brock Nelson nominated for this?
No.
I was absolutely shocked.
He had a good offensive year. I'll pull up his stats here. But he also had good defensive numbers, and he was also really good on Colorado's penalty kill, too. Like, a lot of people didn't know he was on their penalty kill, but...
I definitely didn't.
Yeah, no, he had a very good year. Again, like, did I think they were going to vote him? No, but do I think he deserves it?
The Selke is one of the biggest, like, most incestual award for, like, the best way to get nominated for it is to have already been nominated in the past. And it's like, okay, how do I get nominated the first time? Like, it's one of those ones you need that name recognition. And once you have it, you have to be mostly good and you'll probably get a nomination. Brock Nelson out of nowhere is just felt crazy to me. But I mean,
33 goals.
Honestly,
and
I don't know who else I would have picked.
Yeah.
He had a great year, and I don't know who else I would have picked for that spot. Jack Eichel? Was he even that good defensively? I'd have to look at his numbers, but like,
I think Brock Nelson
Suzuki and Cirelli made a lot of sense for me. I had no idea who else they would pick.
Brock, again, I think the biggest thing
Barkov was out. Reinhart had a rough year because the Panthers as a whole were bad. Like,
yeah, I think a big thing for it is, I mean, you look at it like the Avs had the number 1 penalty kill in the league, and Brock Nelson was a big part of that. So.
It makes sense.
I think it's pretty easy. Yeah, you take a team. It's like, hey, you got the best penalty kill. Who are your workhorses that also contributed offensively? And it's, but I mean, at the end of the day, like Nick Suzuki's winning this, so
I would be.
It's just kind of like, congrats, you're a finalist.
He could win it unanimously.
You're not winning,
and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like he might actually.
Great defensive metrics and over 100 points. Like. If Barkov was healthy this year, I think Suzuki still wins it. I don't think Barkov has a better season than Suzuki's had. Like,
it's very possible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't really even got much more to say on it. Like, we kind of know that Suzuki's going to win. So, I mean, congrats to Cirelli and Brock Nelson on it being the runner-ups. But yeah, it's Nick Suzuki's to win here.
Yeah, I would be shocked if it wasn't. And we also know the Norris Trophy finals.
Norris.
I don't know if we mentioned. I guess I don't remember if we mentioned it at the top, but the Selke is for the best defensive forward in the league, and the Norris is for the best overall defenseman of the year. And sure looks like they're leaning a bit more into the overall aspect of it. People are always complaining that the top point producer is always in there and often wins it for the Norris. And now he's not that guy, Evan Bouchard, is not one of the finalists this year. People are pretty upset by it. The three finalists being Rasmus Dahlin from the Buffalo Sabres, Cale Makar again from the Colorado Avalanche, and Zach Werenski from the Columbus Blue Jackets. I believe I saw the stat. Cale Makar is the only defenseman to be a top 3 finalist for the Norris in 6 of his 7 first seasons. I believe he's the only person to do that other than Bobby Orr.
Wow.
And
it's name recognition more than anything.
He's
based on this season.
He's so young. He already has 6 top 3 finishes. Good Lord.
Like, again,
it makes sense. He's been that good, obviously. It's just, it's crazy it's been around that long. But, like...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for this season, like, obviously not his best season, because he's had so many good ones, and it's kind of one of those ones where it feels like it was kind of just easy to throw him in there, even though there was probably more deserving guys than Makar this season, I think, in my opinion. But again, maybe it goes into how good the Avs were, and it's like, oh, Makar, running it from the blue line, and maybe, it's one of those things.
Did you see Bieksa talk about this on the panel?
Did
you see his quotes going around?
I think
he was really leaning into the fact that he thinks Rasmus Dahlin should win this award. And he went on to cite that he's played a ton of minutes on the penalty kill and that he's blocked a ton of shots. And those were his 2 big metrics. He didn't talk about much else, which was curious because if you look at the stats, Makar and Werenski both have more blocked shots and more penalty kill time on ice. So, like, it felt like a very weird stat to point out and be like, these are specifically the kinds of things that should win it for him when he doesn't beat out the other 2 finalists.
But I guess it's one of those things of, like, and again, that's why it's always so tough when you're just looking at, like, overall time on the penalty kill, because, I'd more look at the percentage of how much, because, like, a team like, Philly, or who's the team that, I'll just say Philly. Say the Flyers took a lot of penalties. Obviously, their defensemen are going to have inflated numbers for time on penalty kill. I'd more look into how much were you on the ice for your team when on the penalty kill. And I don't know how easy it is.
So, like, a percentage of your teams?
Yeah. Is the way that I would.
Okay, that's fair.
Would look at it. I mean, again, like, it should go to Dahlin or Werenski, in my opinion. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I think both are incredibly deserving of it this season. Who do I think is going to win? I wouldn't be shocked if it's Makar, simply because, Makar's going to get a couple first place votes, and they're from people, and then you're going to get a lot of Werenski first place votes, a lot of Dahlin first place votes, and then you're probably also going to get a lot of Dahlin and Werenski in that 4 and 5. Whereas I think Makar's going to have some of those first place votes, and I think he's just going to rack up a lot of second and third place votes. And I think that's what's going to tip it in his favor just slightly, is because it's like, I've got my clear pick, whether it's Dahlin or Werenski. Oh, but I'm not super high on the other one. But it's easy to just throw Makar in there because he's the best defenseman in the world, in the game. And then you just throw him in at 2. And then you figure out the rest from there. It's kind of what I feel like
it's kind of the Nathan McKinnon thing we saw. I don't even remember. The years are starting to blend together. 1 or 2 years ago, where, like, a lot, Kucherov had a great year. A lot of people they don't like his attitude. He's Russian, whatever reason. And then you also got people who just have that voter fatigue on McDavid. So he's a bit lower, and it just kind of, their average vote is a little bit lower. McKinnon also had a great year. A lot of people wanted him first, and, like, sometimes it's just the way the votes end up getting split up. I hope Makar doesn't win it. I think he's going to win more in his future. I think he's fine, and I think he just didn't have the best year of a defenseman. Frankly, I don't think he should be a finalist. Like, I think Bouchard should have been in that third spot.
I probably, because at the end of the day, like, it is kind of weird that, like, for so many years in a row, it's like they constantly just give it to the guy with the most points, the most offensive defenseman, and then it's like, as soon as it's Bouchard, they're like, no, we're not gonna. And it's like, I mean, was Bouchard like a defensive stud this year in his own end? No, but offensively, he was the best. He was the best of everyone at it. So it is kind of weird that way. And I would have had Bouchard in there with Dahlin and Werenski, but I mean, I understand why Makar's in there. I don't agree with it, but I totally get it.
Yeah. I hope Werenski wins it. I really think he deserves to be the winner. He had almost 10 more points than Dahlin in relatively similar amount of games. I think there's one game off. And if nothing else, I just think Werenski has so much less to work with. I mean, Makar, we already know everyone he's playing with. That team is unbelievable. From top, people are going to highlight McKinnon and Natchez and stuff. You could just say top to bottom now. That whole squad is killer's row. But even in Buffalo, Dahlin's got Tage Thompson. He's got
but that argument
Josh
is
Doan out of
but that
nowhere.
argument's I don't like that argument though when it comes to it. Because
I
by
don't
your
know if
logic,
Dahlin's necessarily the best player on his team. Werenski absolutely is, and it's not even
but that doesn't mean
really.
That doesn't mean he should win the Norris because of it though. Like that's like saying say the Hart
No,
finalist
but I think he had to. I think he had to work harder for his points, and
but that's
he
like
got
okay.
more of them.
So, but that's like saying say the Hart finalist is Celebrini, Kucherov, McDavid. I wouldn't say it should go to Celebrini just because he was the clear best player on his team and had nothing to work with though. Like it should just be the best overall defense, and whether that is, whether people believe that's Werenski or Dahlin, that
I think he was the best defenseman overall, and
I would agree. And I would agree.
Least amount of supporting cast.
I would agree.
I don't think that should be the main reason he wins.
I don't like that argument of like, yeah, he's had no one to work with because it's like, yeah, that's just
I think he had the best season despite that, which I think adds to it.
I think he did have the best season overall, and if they went with Dahlin, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's a huge snub to Werenski because I think Dahlin's super deserving, but I would not like it if Makar won just because I think it would be weird when Dahlin and Werenski both kind of like career years, and they still give it to Makar, who kind of had a down year by his standards. That would just feel like at that point it's just like people are voting for Makar just because of his name, and then it kind of takes away from.
I guess, but him having a down year by his standards shouldn't matter if he's still the best,
But that's what I'm saying is he wasn't. But he wasn't. And that's what I'm saying is so they would be voting for him based on.
I'm starting to lean that Dahlin's not my top three. The more I look at these stats, I think mine's Makar, Werenski, Bouchard. And I think Makar's number 3 there. I think Bouchard should be number 2.
I would have Dahlin in there over Makar, I think, still, though. Wouldn't you?
Honestly, those two are kind of a coin flip for me. They look at their stats, they're very similar. They play a relatively similar defensive game. I know Dahlin's more physical, but I think a lot of people want him to win as well, just because it's such a feel good year for Buffalo, and I think they want that for Buffalo. And I mean, it's been 15 years. I can't knock him for that. That's totally fair. But at least we don't know who's going to win. Any of the three could easily win, right? There's no shocking answer, really, right?
Yeah, no.
So, it feels like a 40% chance for Makar, 30 for both of the other two. It's right there.
I'm just gonna look up to see how that shakes out. Because I think when I looked up the other day, Dahlin's defensive metrics were really good though. And again, maybe part of the reason that they're going with him is also again, he was very instrumental in Buffalo turning things around this season.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking is kind of part of it, or maybe that's like that was a tiebreaker for a lot of people to vote him higher than Bouchard or something like that. Team success matters. There's I don't think Werenski's going to end up winning it because his team didn't make the playoffs. Is that his fault? No. The Norris isn't handed out to the best defensive player, the best defenseman on a playoff team.
It's the same way we talked about
how it's been voted.
It's the same way when we talked about the Vezina. Yeah, the biggest thing for people is probably Vasilevsky made the playoffs. Sorokin didn't. if you kind of have him as a 1A, 1B, it's easy to just go the route of one made playoffs, one didn't. Again, I'm going to say I think Makar wins because I think it's going to be that he's probably not going to get as many first place votes as other guys, but he's going to rack up those second and third place votes because it's easy to throw him in there. And
any of the voters who didn't pay attention to the entire league, they're going to have Makar in their top 3 because they're like, nobody's going to get mad at me for putting Makar up here. It's Cale Makar. Like,
Makar, no one's going to bat an eye. You're absolutely right.
Moritz Snyder. Moritz Seider, a little bit snubbed. Not seeing many people talk about it. I don't know if he was a top 3 guy for it.
I wouldn't have had. I think he'll get a decent amount of votes.
I hope when the voting comes out, he's top 5.
There's a good chance he might be. I don't think I would have had him as a finalist, though. I think he'll definitely get there, as maybe as early as next season. But because again, for the Norris, like the point total's just got to get higher. Is the biggest thing. Like everything else about his game
points, career
is
high,
so solid. But
I
think you got for the Norris, you kind of got to be in that like 70 to.
I mean, I think in the world we live in, to win it, you do have to be there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I would love the reality where a guy, he played a very physical game and played a great defensive season. Like, if you're that good in the other areas, you should be able to win it with 60 points.
We just need a new defenseman award. You just need for the best offensive defenseman and then best overall.
People have been saying that for like a decade, man, and it's right there. And you obviously like the fix is so obvious. Everyone's been saying it, and like nobody has a different opinion. You make the Norris the exact same thing it is. It's the best defenseman award. And then you create the Bobby Orr award for most points by a defenseman, or best offensive defenseman if you really want to vote on it and not have it like an Art Ross type thing. Like, and then obviously since there's the offensive award, the Norris, despite being functionally the same, will shift towards two-way players a little bit more and guys that are good in their zone, So hopefully we see that someday. That's one of those things that's a slam dunk for whoever comes after Bettman. Whoever comes after Bettman, that's like just easy PR win. Fans have been asking for it. Give them another trophy. Super easy. Just like farming free goodwill from the league or from the fans, I guess.
Only hope one day, maybe one day.
You can only hope.
Playoffs. We're talking about Cale Makar in the Colorado Avalanche.
We had one other thing in there. We don't have to talk about it much because we do want to get to these playoffs,
right?
I guess.
I can throw it in there. Yeah.
But the salary cap was announced that it is going up an increase of $8.5 million. It's going from $95.5 million to $104 million next season. $8.5 million. That you could do a lot with that in an offseason.
It's a good increase there.
You could re-sign a Darren Radish.
Well, and so that's the thing. A lot of people that kind of see this and just like, oh, salary cap's going up. Yeah, it's obviously all great for all those things, but it's also like kind of scary for some teams because stuff like this is when you really start to see some overpays. Yeah, because teams are like, we got this extra money, we're always spending the cap, and then they usually spend that money, and that's where you get into your contracts like the Lucic contract, just all like the Andrew Ladd one, like a lot of bad ones that you end up having to pay.
I was hoping you were going to say it.
Give off what?
The Oliver Ekman-Larsson contract. Do you remember who signed the Oliver Ekman-Larsson contract?
Well, that was Arizona.
It was in Arizona. Sure, but it became an albatross of a contract. Do you know who OEL's GM is now?
But
the same guy who signed him to that extension, John Chayka.
But that's because he went to Vancouver, and Vancouver kind of...
Oh, yeah. No, there's...
Him. If he stayed in Arizona...
flying around the league to a bunch of places. He's retained on by at least one team. Like, there's all this stuff going on. But it is funny that, like,
he's back
OEL, a guy who had a notorious contract, he's right back there with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I never even thought that contract was even that awful. I mean, it got much worse because Vancouver and Yeah, that was a rough time for Vancouver.
OEL never really lived up to the hype. Like, people talked about him like he was gonna be like the next Erik Karlsson, and it's like
Well,
that
when
was just unfair. But he
in Arizona,
carved out a
he was
pretty fucking good career.
he was damn good in Arizona though. Like those Phoenix
He was
Coyotes
really good.
days, running the blue line there, like that was special. That was special.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what these teams do with this extra cap space. The free agency class is kind of buns this year. It's not very good. So we'll see what a lot of teams do with this money because you're either overpaying on guys that
Gonna be a lot of big old
free agency
contracts coming
or
up on July
you're
1st.
saving it on contract extensions. Yeah. Colorado Avalanche though are now up 2-0 on the Minnesota Wild in this series.
Didn't look difficult for him.
Just bodying them. Just bodying them,
Like,
man.
dude, this Wild team looks so good too. And the Avs just don't care. Like, I said in our group chat earlier today, but like, this Avs team might just go 16-0. They might just sweep the playoffs. Like, they were the best team all
Wouldn't be
year. They look
shocked.
hell bent right now. This is a good defense. One of the best things about this Wild team is how good defensively they are. They have a lot of good defensive forwards, and their blue line is ridiculous. And they have two elite goalies, or at least close to elite goalies.
Mhm.
And they dropped 9 goals and then 5 goals on them in games 1 and 2. Like,
Yeah.
they say you're not in trouble until you lose on home ice. I'm ready to jump the gun. Minnesota's in trouble now.
Yeah. Well, and they did
Like,
say they said it tonight a couple times during the Hurricanes Flyers game that if you go up 2-0 in a series, it's like you win like 86% of the time. And it's this Colorado team that's up 2-0. I don't love that for Minnesota. I really,
yeah.
really don't.
Like, if there's any team that could come back against them, I think the Wild are one of the best teams to do it, but oh, I mean, there's not a single team in the league that I would take to beat them in a 7-game series
In a
after
7-game
going
series.
down by 2.
Yeah.
Like, that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, Minnesota's up there. Like the only team that I think the team I'd have the most faith in would be the Dallas Stars.
I
I mean,
agree.
game one between
Just
these
'cause
two
they've done
teams is
it.
like so exciting and fun and everything. And I'm like, I was happy with the game, but after this, like, I can't help but just feel like, man, I wish we got Dallas though. I think it just would have been.
Yep.
It would have
Dallas
been
was just too
a
injured.
much.
My
Yeah.
God. Do you see their laundry list of injuries? My God. Hockey
I
players,
mean,
man. They
we'll see
are nuts.
what Minnesota can do. We are recording this on the 7th, the night of the Thursday. Game 3 doesn't take place till Saturday. So they have quite a lengthy break between the games 2 and 3. It's good chance for Eriksson Ek to get healthy because, again, Minnesota is desperately missing him in their lineup. But again,
Yep.
9-6 and then
center.
5-2. How much of a difference does that make? Well, I'm curious to see. I can't even speculate because who knows?
I mean, is he going to be matching up against McKinnon? Like, it might make
Yeah.
a big difference. I don't think
Depending on what
Nate
level
Dugg's
he's
going
at,
to be
though.
denied by Eriksson
Yeah.
Ek too often, but
Yeah.
we saw Barkov shut down McDavid. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, Barkov's
Eriksson Ek
also.
isn't Barkov, but
Yeah, Barkov's 20 times the player Eriksson Ek is defensively. Not actually, but like Barkov is by far the number one guy in the league, whereas Eriksson Ek's in that.
There's a bigger difference between Eriksson Ek and Barkov than there is from McKinnon to McDavid, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and even an Avs team where, like, again, like, their power play was just dog shit in the regular season. Like, it was not good. And then as soon as playoffs come around, it's like now their power play is, where it should have been all year, back to being elite. And it's like you're kind of watching. It's just like you can't take penalties. You can't take penalties against this Avs team because they'll make you pay, and that's exactly what they're doing.
That's not the hockey they were playing in round 1.
Yeah,
in round 1, it was constant penalties on both sides between the Wild and the Stars. So, like, now all of a sudden they have to change it up and they have to clean it up a lot because they absolutely will get punished. And I guess, they were getting punished in the first round on the power play, but This Avs
Colorado's
team
power
can
play
score
is 3 for
5v5 a lot
6.
more than the Stars.
Yeah. Colorado's power play second round is already going at 50% through 2 games, and that's only 3 power play goals. They have 14 goals total. So they're still getting it done 5-on-5. It's again, like, is Minnesota out and they're done for? No, they could still. There's still a path for them too. But I wouldn't be betting on it. If, I it's just a really good Colorado team that it feels like a team of destiny almost. Kind of feels like when we were watching Edmonton last
They're
year.
gonna
It's just
kill
like
whoever
we know
wins the
they're
other
going.
series.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
we know they're going to the Cup final. It's now just who do they play? And thankfully for Colorado, you don't got to worry about a Florida Panthers this year. You're worried about a Buffalo or a Carolina.
It feels like
quite a
everyone
bit
low
different.
key kind of knows the finals already, doesn't it? Like it kind of feels like everyone's just waiting to see it.
I don't think
It
so.
feels like usually we have to get at least to the conference finals and be the final 4 for people to be confident. But
I feel that way in the East, not the West, but the East. I feel that way.
for me, I'm just sitting there like, it's gonna be Canes Avs. Let's just get to it. Like I think there's a world
I
where the
wouldn't be
Sabres
shocked
take
for
the
this. Yeah.
Canes. I think there's a world where that happens, and I'm less confident on the East than I am the West. But I would not be surprised to see the Canes handle the Sabres. I think the Sabres will make it a fight. I think it'll
do you
easily
have
be the
anything
hardest
left
series they've played.
Do you have anything left to throw on the Avs wild here? Because if not, we can jump into Carolina. Because I got some stuff.
I was gonna say not really. I mean,
with that.
yeah, they kind of dog
We need
walked them. And I
Minnesota
mean,
to give us something
Minnesota scored 6 goals in game 1. That's fucking awesome. You love to see that and know that you could score on the other team. Unfortunately, you got 9 dropped on your head. Like that's crazy. That frick.
Yeah.
15 goals. 15 goals in game 1. How many goals did the entire Tampa and Canadiens series have? It was
It
probably
was still
relatively
more than 15,
close to 50.
but it was still, yeah. I mean, that game alone was more than the entirety. I mean, it was 4 games, but it's the sweep of Carolina over Ottawa. That was only 14.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Both
Both teams.
But the Carolina Hurricanes, though, taking a 3-0 series lead over the Philadelphia Flyers, winning tonight 4-1. Just
we might have less to talk about here.
Yeah, so the reason I wanted to throw this out
here,
great way
to say it. Yeah,
jump to this one, is the Hurricanes haven't faced any adversity so far in the playoffs. Yeah, an overtime game here or there, but they were always in control still. They always had a series lead. They've constantly been playing with the lead. I mean,
they've never trailed
2 against they did in game 2 against the Flyers, but it was early on. They still had the entire rest of the game to come back, and it's not like they were, down by a goal in the final 5 minutes trying to fight center time. It's like, even when they're down, it still felt like they were in control. You could say the same with Colorado, but it's also Colorado's got a bunch of guys that have done it before. A lot of guys that have already won cups, and we've seen it. Carolina, Jordan Staal, he's won a cup, but that was also, back with the Penguins, way back then.
I think
so
that's what I'm kind of like
with
matters less the further into the playoffs you go. I will say, just because I think a lot of guys get into their groove more, but
but it's still not a team that's battle tested though. I want to see, because again, it just feels like Carolina's. They rolled over Ottawa. They're rolling over Philly. I mean, it's
I guess I'm thinking historically because they've been to the conference finals several years.
Yeah,
like I'm thinking more.
But then they just get they get rolled, and when they get down against Florida and they're trying to claw back, it's like they can't. And again, I mean, Florida, won back-to-back cups, so they did lose to the eventual winners, but it's like, once they were down and kind of playing from behind, they couldn't come back. They couldn't even put up.
It does suck that we got a Panthers Oilers twice. Like, it would have been fun to see.
It's kind of sick, but it's also like,
how does yeah, like it is, like it was cinema for sure, and in a couple different ways. But like, I would have loved to see Could Barkov shut down McKinnon and Natchez the same way that he shuts down McDavid and whoever the hell he's got playing on his line? Like,
No, I mean, yeah, right. Like
that would have
that's
been a crazy close series.
yeah. But that's kind of just the way I feel about Carolina. Again, like Carolina is a very, a good team. Like I'm not taking anything away from them, but I just feel like it's been a bit of a cakewalk for them. I expected Ottawa
That's
to be
fair.
better. Ottawa just really didn't show up for the most part. Philly, I think they, we kind of talked about beforehand. I think they were kind of punching above their weight most of the season, and they're just not a good matchup against Carolina because the Flyers
they're coming out of a rebuild realistically,
but it was never even really a rebuild. Yeah, it was like a retool that's like they snuck into the playoffs, and it's like there's a very good chance you miss the playoffs next year because you could have benefited again.
They probably
from
do miss the playoffs next year.
Top end pick, yeah,
there's a good chance.
So again, like very good chance Carolina makes Cup final because again they're probably going to sweep Philly and have a nice little rest before the Eastern Finals, but I feel like the team hasn't really been tested enough yet, and I feel like they could maybe get caught off guard by what's probably going to be Buffalo. Definitely could be Montreal there.
It could be,
but I'm not totally sold on Carolina just because I just need to see them go through at least somewhat of even just a smidge of adversity in the playoffs and rally back and be like, okay, I'm good. I just need them to prove it to me.
Do you think the Flyers and the Sens are this bad though, or do you think it's their
it's probably a little bit of combination
of style of play that
both.
they make these teams look bad?
I think a little combination of both.
Right.
Because again, I mean, Ottawa. The only reason Ottawa even had a sniff was Allmark. Kachuk looked awful. Stützle didn't look.
Man, who
great.
thought we'd be saying that?
Ottawa
we'd be saying that going to the playoffs.
Ottawa's
Everyone
blue line
was talking Allmark.
Destroyed. You didn't have Sanderson. Thomas Chabot was maybe at 2%. Like it was so painful watching him out there, just because knowing the million things he was going through, like Clevin, playing with a broken jaw and still throwing those kind of hits. Ottawa just yeah. Philly, I feel like Philly, and I hate saying this, but like they blew their load in the first round against Pittsburgh. It really kind of just seemed like they got through in the end. They almost, again, I think if Pittsburgh won Game 6 and sent it back to Pittsburgh Game 7, I think Pittsburgh wins that series. So I think Philly kind of ended up, despite taking a 3-0 series lead, escaped out of the first round, and it was like it didn't matter who they were playing. Like I think we both said Canes in 5. That
sounds right. I'd have to double check. I might have said a Canes sweep, but that doesn't feel familiar.
Like, Carolina is still a good team though. Like it's I'm not taking anything away from them. Still a very good team, but I just feel like they haven't been tested a whole lot.
When did we do these predictions? I got Canes beating Flyers 4-2.
Oh.
I thought I might have put sweep instead of 5. Apparently, I had them go to 6. Something tells me that's not going to happen in real life. But yeah, no, I don't disagree. Like they've had by far the teams left have had the easiest path forward so far, and it'll be interesting because I think that's got to stop in the conference finals. Like whether it's the Habs or the Sabres, I think they're going to get at least some type of adversity that they haven't had to this point. But regardless of who they face, even if it is Buffalo, who I think would be their strongest opponent, that's still a far cry from the Colorado Avalanche or even the Minnesota Wild.
I don't even have anything else left to say on this series because again, it's Canes are up 3-0. They just look
the Canes are dominating
the Flyers. Yeah.
Martone still looks really good. There's some times where it's just
the offensive
it's not working out, but like
slowed down a bit. But
but when he has the puck, he's still noticeable and looks good out there. Like talking more about like his projection going forward, he's gonna be such a good player. He's gonna be really good.
Born to be a Flyer. The Buffalo Sabres winning Game 1 over the Montreal Canadiens 4-2. Take a 1-0 series lead.
They
What
they
I
got out to a hot start.
felt. Yeah. And I gotta say, I see a lot of people throwing it out there like, because Buffalo did get shot in this game 28-16, but the shots were also 11-1 in the third. So, you can kind of either be in the camp of like, oh, Montreal dominated the third period, like they can prove they're the better team. I'm kind of on the camp of Buffalo proved, hey, we can have a 2-goal lead going into the third period. We can sit back and be fine. We can hold on to a
And
lead.
they held the lead.
We can let you come in waves. Well, I shouldn't say it. Well, yeah, come in waves.
Come waves.
And hold on. Again, like, do I think did Montreal have a good third period? Yeah. Did they dominate in the faceoffs? Yeah, 62.7%. Both power plays looked good, but Buffalo proved, they can jump on you from the start, get a lead, and whether they're deciding to sit back or not, matter of the fact is they held on to a lead despite getting outshot 11-1 in the third.
It didn't even get down to a 1-goal game.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of goals on their power play as well, which a lot of the times people look at and be like, oh no, they can't score 5-on-5. No, that's all they've done these playoffs. This is actually scary for the Habs because now their power play might start scoring on top of that. And if that's the case, it's going to be a rough series.
Yeah. I feel like Montreal kind of off the start, it kind of looked like they were coming into this expecting it to be like the Tampa Bay series, where it's going to be tight game, low scoring, and I think Buffalo just surprised them right off the get. It took Montreal a bit to kind of get settled in and be like, okay, no, this is different. This is not.
It's an entirely different play, and
that's kind of what it felt like to me.
That's one thing that gives me a lot of pause for how good this Habs team really is right now. I don't know if it's a coaching thing. I don't know if it's a players thing. I genuinely don't, but it's Tampa set the pace of play the entire first round. Like the Habs never played their game. Their game's a lot faster than what we saw. We saw a close series the whole way, very defensive, which generally isn't Tampa's play style, but it is in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now they're being forced to play the Buffalo Sabres style of playoff hockey. And like, even for a single game, I'd love to see them go out there and just dictate the pace of play. I don't know if that's something you do when you have the puck, when you don't have the puck, if it's a line matching thing. I really don't know how you change it that much, but it's very evident watching some teams that they decide how the game is played. The Avs do that.
Yeah.
And the Minnesota Wild went, what the fuck? We were playing a entirely different style of hockey, and all of a sudden the score is 9-6 because defense is breaking down everywhere. So I'd love to see Montreal dictate the pace, but they haven't in 8 games so far in the playoffs. But
a big thing is,
they've shown that they can win at other people's pace as well.
I don't love to ever specifically kind of like call out plays necessarily, but Cole Caulfield's got to figure it out, man.
I knew you were going to call him out.
I mean, this is a guy that 51 goals in the regular season,
second most in the regular season.
In the playoffs, 8 games played so far, 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points. All power play points, by the way. Doesn't have a single point at 5-on-5 in the playoffs. Only, again, a guy that had 51 goals, 1 goal in 8 games played. If people are going to be critical of Kucherov and whatnot, we can't. Cole Caulfield's not exempt. He's a younger player, but he's a proven guy in this league now. He's a guy that Montreal relies on.
He's more of a goal scorer as well.
Yeah. Like, and again, like, it's not fully on him, but he's a guy they rely on for a lot of offense from specifically goals and you haven't even got a 5-on-5 point from him yet. Like that needs to change if Montreal wants to have
at least Suzuki's playing well defensively on top of.
I think Nick Suzuki's playoff numbers actually aren't bad.
I don't think they're horrendous. I think he's got more points, and I think he's got a couple of even strength ones.
7 points in 8 games, 5 power play points, so two even strength points.
So, like, you'd like a little more 5v5 production, but there's at least some there. He's still
Mhm.
producing well on the power play, and he's playing great defensively. Like, so you're not complaining about him too much, right? But when it's a
Slavkovsky,
guy that is known
8.
for goal scoring and
Yeah.
he's a small guy, so he's not running around and hitting guys a ton and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
it's
Even Slavkovsky, 8 games played, 3 goals, 1 assist. Those 3 goals were all game 1 against Tampa. So he's got 4 points in
yeah.
the playoffs again, all power play points.
I think
So
I was gonna say all power play. Like,
it's that's what it comes down to, is that you need your big dogs to get something done 5 on 5. Demidov, 2 assists in the playoffs, no goals, power play, both. Like,
like,
the team's got to get it going 5 on 5. That's where they're struggling. The power play is fine. You know,
and their
that's
depth
chugging
is
along, and
doing
you can
great
make that
too.
work. Yeah, but you need your
Frankly,
big
this is
dogs
one of the
5 on
best.
5 to eat.
Like,
Start
this is
chowing
one of the
down. It's playoff
best
time.
problems.
Hmm.
Like, if you're gonna have a major problem, one of the best one is your best players aren't showing up yet. Because if your best players are showing up and you're losing, it's because you have no depth scoring. I would be a lot more confident in my stars picking up the goal scoring than my depth guys. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and that is
if
true.
you're getting no scoring out of your bottom six, do you expect that to just magically change? Probably not.
Hmm.
Cole Caulfield could go out and score a hat trick next game, all 5 on 5, and it would
I
be
wouldn't be
awesome to see.
shocked.
Would we be that shocked? Not really.
No,
He's over the regular season, the second best goal scorer.
I
So
kept waiting in the Tampa series as we got into game 5, 6, 7. It's like Cole Caulfield's gonna
I made sure
start
never to
going.
try. I did made it a point to try and not say it out loud because I knew, like, the freaking boogeyman, like Joe Hendry, he would just show up and be incredible.
Yeah.
But in my head, the entire series, I was going, when's Cole Caulfield going to show up and score a goal in the final minute from some godforsaken stupid angle where his back's against the boards and he's on the red line and he just roofs it. And it just never happened.
Yeah. But only one game
Maybe
in that
game 2
series so
against the Sabres.
far. Again, yeah, definitely time for things to turn around for Montreal. Um, so we'll see what happens
Sabres are
here.
playing good.
Yeah, yeah,
Sabres are
they
playing
do
very
look
good.
they do look good, and yeah, I'm curious to see what Montreal can bring back here in game 2. And then last series, Anaheim and Vegas. Ducks win game
The
2, 3-1, tie the series up.
closest series by a good margin, I would say, so far. I
Yeah,
mean, it's the only one
both
that's
games
tied up.
3-1.
Anaheim, they look good. I love that they're proving people wrong. Like, people never know when to shift their opinions on a team from, like, a rebuilding team to, okay, they're kind of here. They'll get better even more into the future, but they're kind of already here. And this Anaheim team has proven people that they're not fucking around.
Mhm.
Vegas
I
is not making it easy on them. They
mhm.
still look very good. I would not be shocked to see this go 7.
I think there's a very good chance it does. Um, I feel so bad for the Ducks, specifically Lucas Dostal. Um, the Anaheim Ducks have gone. What is it here? Like, it's just a fucking insane amount of games without a shutout. I think it was like going back to the previous season, like the start of that year was the last time they got a shutout. Like, it's been a long time, and they were
Interesting.
6 seconds
I
away.
mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, the goal was really late, wasn't it? Oh, that's rough.
It was a late, yeah, Ross Johnston high sticking penalty. I think it was 10, 12 seconds left, and boom, Vegas gets a power play goal with, yeah, like 6 seconds left on the clock.
Man.
That would have been such a confidence
Raw
booster for the Ducks of being like, man, we can actually, we
Johnston's
can,
gotta feel like
you know,
such a dick, huh? Oh,
especially he
dude,
drew into
that's
the lineup for this game. Like, he was a healthy scratch previously, and he came in for, I think it was McTavish of all people. And it's like, yeah, he
that's
cost your
so
goalie a shutout.
bad.
That's rough. But I mean, at the end of the
Oh,
day, like, the Ducks did
no.
get the win. Like, it's not like it cost them the game, but I think it would have been a huge morale boost for the team and Dostal to be like,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
we shut them out, and and whatnot. Then
hundred
people can
percent.
say, well, they basically did, but they didn't. Gotta play full 60.
Yeah,
Ducks played
they
59 minutes and
didn't get
50
it on the
seconds.
stat sheet, and the guys aren't feeling like they got it in the locker room. They feel like they got a win,
Mhm.
which they did, which is the most important thing. But
Yeah,
oh man, especially for a guy who draws into the lineup in that game, that's extra, dude. Like I'm
it's
trying to
pretty
think because there's
impressive.
only two ways I can handle that after the game. I'm the first guy in my street clothes and I'm fucking gone and I don't want to look at anybody, or I'm the last guy in the locker room. Like
Yeah,
apologizing to people. Like that's
yeah.
tough.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I think you're totally right. This is the most it feels the most evenly matched series. Both teams can hang with each other, and yeah, I think this is the series that will go the deepest of them. And well,
at least
congratulations.
6
There's a
games, I would
chance
hope.
that you go six or seven, you long battle series here, and then it's like, oh, congrats, you win. Now you get to go up against the 8-0 Colorado Avalanche, who have been resting for a week. Congrats.
And got good rest in between game 2 and 3. Like,
Yeah.
oh man. Dude, I'm like my brain is working like a supercomputer trying to figure out a way where the Avs don't win the cup this year. And like there's not a lot of avenues I can picture it
Good.
happening. Like it just
Good.
has to
That's what I
be
like
a
to hear.
monumental collapse by them.
That's what I like to
It,
hear.
it like it really feels like it's in their hands more than the other teams. They were
Yeah.
already so good, and then they added so much at the deadline, made great
So
moves.
much.
Like
Yeah.
it's a nasty squad they got going on there.
Anything else on Golden Knights Ducks? Fun series so far, honestly. I know a lot of people were
Very fun
not
series.
excited about this. I've been enjoying it. Again, it's both games 3-1, but these are two teams that can hang with each other, and these games aren't blowouts, and I'm having fun with them. For the late night games, I'm having a good time. I'm
What
enjoying
are
it.
his stats specifically? I'd just like to bring them up. I don't know if you saw this, but Mitch Marner has tied his career playoff high in playoff goals in a single postseason with 3
Damn.
in his first season with the Vegas Golden Knights. Man,
Jeez.
only three is his high. That's so rough. Um, but you know what? He already did it in 8 games. Last time it took him 11 with the Leafs. You know,
Yeah.
we'll see if he keeps showing up. He's been doing really good from so far. 9 points in 8 games, 3 of them goals. He's been noticeable.
He's been very noticeable. He's actually probably been Vegas's like most noticeable player, in my opinion. He's been a lot of fun to watch this year.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't think I
I've
got
been
much
enjoying
else
his
to
game.
say about this series, about any of the series, really. It's that's the only close one, and it's like, yeah, I don't even know what to talk about or poke holes with it. It's just great hockey. The whole lineup is showing up for both sides, which is awesome. The top guys look good.
Hmm.
Even both sides have been getting the good goaltending. Like
Yeah,
it it
it's
feels like it's
good.
going to come down to the wire, and I would
Hmm.
it will really suck if this somehow ends in five games or 6 games. Like one team just completely takes it over.
Yeah, this one, yeah, feels like we're gonna get at least 6, I think, and we're probably due for an overtime game or two. I think it's gonna start to get to that point where it's kind of like 3-1 game,
Yeah,
3-1 game. We're gonna start getting those tied like 2-2 games. So
yeah.
looking forward to it.
That's what this round
Um,
has been missing. Give us some overtime.
yeah,
Has
yeah,
there been any
yeah.
overtime in round 2? Have have the
The
Canes and Flyers
Canes Flyers game 2,
they
yeah.
went game 2 went to overtime. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
that's it.
that's it. Might be the only one.
Ums.
Um, but starting to get into the closing segments of this episode. If you listen to the last one, you know what's coming around the corner. Braden already knows. We are back with another Too Real, Too Fake. If it's your first time here,
Yes,
you're unfamiliar with the
sir.
game. Pretty simple. I have 4 players here, little bio for each of them, and 2 of them are completely real. Everything about them is real, and 2 of them are completely fake, and it's all a made-up lie. And it's up to Braden and you at home to figure out who are the 2 real players and who are the 2 fake players. Braden, are you ready?
I am so ready.
He is so ready. All right. Here we go then.
Been preparing all week for this.
The first
Been
player...
reading bios on old players from the 70s all week.
Well, that won't help you with this guy then. The first player we have here is Kerry Huffman, a Canadian defenseman drafted 20th overall by the Philadelphia Flyers in the 1986 NHL draft. Huffman, I'm just going to take this off here actually. Huffman played 401 career games between the Flyers, Sens, and Nordiques before retiring in 1999. Post-retirement, Huffman spent time coaching before being hired as the director of pro scouting for the Pittsburgh Penguins, where, in 2023, he was fired by none other than Kyle Dubas. Huffman now spends his time serving as a scout for the Calgary Flames. That is Kerry Huffman.
Kerry Huffman has huge Calgary guy vibes.
Huge Calgary. He's
like
huge Calgary guy.
Like right? if you're on the C train and you see if somebody dropped their ID, you pick it up. It says Kerry Huffman. You're like, yeah, he's from here. This is a local.
That's just a Calgary guy. Are you ready for your next player?
I'm ready.
Player number 2. We have Martin Louis. Not to be confused with St. Louis, Martin Louis, a Canadian winger drafted 103rd overall by the Canadiens in the 1982 NHL draft. Louis played a total of 116 games for the Canadiens before being traded to the Edmonton Oilers, where the Edmonton Oilers somehow lost his gear, forcing Louis to get all brand new gear before suiting up for the Edmonton Oilers. Louis played a total of 522 NHL games between the Canadiens, Oilers, and Islanders before retiring in 1993. Post-playing career, Louis spent most of his time coaching his kids, where he now just enjoys the retired life. There's no job in hockey for him. Just a retired man.
I have no idea what to call on that one. That feels like a real name that you'd find and be like, oh, that's funny. But like the team losing his gear thing, like, sounds realistic, but like it feels like that wouldn't have happened with a guy who also has the really funny name. That one's interesting. I don't know what to do with that.
I never know. The third player we have here, we have Dick Turnstrom, a Swedish defenseman drafted 272nd overall by the New York Islanders in the 1994 NHL draft. Turnstrom made his NHL debut in 2001 with the Islanders, where he spent 1 season there before going to the Penguins as a free agent, playing a total of 306 career NHL games, where he put up an impressive 140 points. Turnstrom had to have been pissed in 2020 when his son Oliver was drafted by the New York Rangers. That is Dick Turnstrom.
Those are pretty good stats for a guy for a defenseman. Good God. I was just going to say for a player in that time period in the dead puck era. For a defenseman to be putting that up is...
And that is Dick Turnstrom.
Pretty wild.
Are you ready for your 4th and final player?
Yes'm.
The last player you have here. We have Richard Balls, or, as his teammates called him, Richie Balls. An American center drafted 44th.
I would have bet money you were going to say Dick Balls.
No. Richie Balls.
Richie Balls.
Okay. An American center drafted 44th overall by the Washington Capitals in the 1999 NHL draft. Richie played a total of 619 NHL games between the Capitals, Bruins, and Flames, where he put up 296 points and 859 penalty minutes in his career. Balls received an 8-game suspension in 2003 for, you guessed it, spearing. We all know where you spear someone to get an 8-game sussy.
Balls
After
likes
retirement,
to get in there. It gets to the dirty areas.
After retirement, Ritchie spent some time coaching before opening his own bar called 8 Spears, in reference to his iconic suspension.
Okay.
I believe,
All
actually, I
right.
don't know the location of 8 Spears. Couldn't tell you on that. Didn't write it down. But that is Richard Balls. I think you got to be buddies with him to call him Richie Balls.
Yeah, Richie. Yeah, Richie is for people who know him.
And
I've got 2 of them labeled already.
Your 4 players. All right, talk me through it. Talk me through your thought process. What are you feeling?
I'm trying to pick which one is real and which one is fake between Carey Huffman and Martin Louis. Okay, I think I got it. I'm gonna go for it. I'm swinging for it. All right, I've got my 4 answers.
All righty. Quick and easy with it.
I'm going to say that Carey Huffman is fake. Martin Louis is real.
Okay.
Dick Tarnstrom is real. And Richard Balls is fake. I was gonna have him as real, and then after you said the part about the bar that has the name referencing his thing, I'm like, that's just awesome, and I feel like surely I would have heard about that, right? Like, that's just cool. That's so cool that I would be annoyed if it's real, and I've never heard of it.
So confirm you're going Carey Huffman and Richard Balls as fake, and you're going Martin Louis and Dick Tarnstrom as real.
Dick Tarnstrom. Correct.
Final answer, locking it in?
I'm locking it in.
Locking it in. I can't believe you thought Richard Balls was fake.
Is that real?
He is in fact fake. He is not real.
Okay.
Richard Balls is fake. Dick Tarnstrom, though, Swedish defenseman, drafted 272nd overall, put up impressive numbers. He is in fact real. He is real, and his son was drafted by the New York Rangers. So we'll see how that shakes out.
I don't know what it was, but that was the one I was most confident in being real. Something about it just felt.
Just sometimes it just speaks to you, right? It just feels right.
Dick Tarnstrom is also a great name.
Fucking great name, right? Martin Louis, the Canadian winger who played for Montreal, got traded to Edmonton, lost his gear. You thought he was real. He is fake, which means that Carey Huffman, the Canadian defenseman, who is now a scout for the Calgary Flames, is in fact real. Once again, 50% for you. And that's good 50%. Because that means you did well, but it also means I did well. I'm always happy about that.
I was so close to going Huffman, and I wanted Martin Louis to be real so bad.
You want it to be real so bad. I mean, it would have been pretty sweet if he was real, though. Hey, that would have been cool. But we're at the end of the episode here. Yeah, we're at the end of the episode here. We do hope you all enjoyed another episode of the Stick 'em Up podcast. As always, if you want to talk hockey, let us know your thoughts on anything we talked about here today, including the draft lottery or the playoffs or the awards finals. You can do so through any of our socials or over on YouTube as well in the comments or community section. Braden, we've got a great weekend of playoff hockey coming up here, potentially a couple sweeps by the time the next episode comes out. But before all of that, as always, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Man, who can stop this Avs team? They just look hell-bent on winning. But until then, I'm gonna keep on watching as many games as I can, and especially that Vegas Anaheim series because I
Sneaky
it's,
fun
it's
series.
a different vibe about it. I don't know. There's something about it that just is really fun to watch. It's two very
It
fun
really
teams.
is. Can you imagine in like 5 years, right? When it's like the late game, which would like for us would be like 8 o'clock, 8:30, is going to be San Jose Anaheim. It's going to be
And like that's gonna
fun.
be so it's gonna be so ridiculous.
It's going to be so
Those squads are gonna be
ridiculous.
juiced.
But that is it for this episode. One final time, we hope you all enjoyed. And as always, we will see all of you wonderful people out on the ice next week.